The Finn Sword Saga continues somewhat. Finn the Human is at the forefront of this episode, which heavily revolves around using music as a way to cope with loss, or at the more general level, using art to cope with sorrow. Music, however, does have a relatively unique role in channeling feelings when it comes to forms of expression, and practically everyone has at some point in their life threw on a song or playlist to aid in overcoming negative emotions. Creating, or just simply listening to music can provide a soothing release for somber and mournful feelings and thoughts. While the performances of his friends momentarily take Finn's mind off Finn's sword and ease his despondency, it's the musical song that speaks to him on a far deeper level and allows him to let go of those festering feelings rather than merely set them aside. I did briefly wonder whether this episode's release date matches the chronological timeline within the show, but Flame Princess performing a rap with NEPTR for Plan C, for Battle of the Bands, confirms that this episode does take place at least after Bun Bun, which means there's no good reason to assume the episode order has been scrambled up. It may feel a little odd for Finn to get so hung up on Finn's sword after he seemed pretty together in prior episodes, but that is a manner in which some people cope. Finn seemed to have disregarded or ignored his feelings at first, but now the regret and sorrow has manifested to the point that he does nothing but stare at the sword for days on end. It may also be an issue of time. Finn's sword hasn't shown any signs of getting better, and the longer Finn's sword stays broken with no signs of recovery, the more hopeless it becomes for Finn the Human. Amidst his depression, Finn's friends show how much they care for him once more in this episode, with Princess Bubblegum orchestrating an entire day to holding a pseudo-mock contest to cheer him up, where the denizens of Ooo display their musical prowess in varied and amusing ways. The musical numbers were really fun! Marceline's song was a partial cover of the artist Mitski, yet it matched Marcy really well, but Flame Princess and NEPTR's merch-flipping ways stole the show for me. Well, actually, it wasn't a musical number that was my favorite part of Plan C, but rather Ice King's hilarious attempts at being the security, and his attempted crowd control. Holy shit. The musical song is all that's on Finn's mind though. It speaks to him on such a level that he quietly abandons his position as judge to find the source of the music, to the frustration of the Battle of the Bands participants who are quite eager to actually be the winners. Ashley Erickson of the band Lake, who's the singer of the Adventure Time credits song, voices this new character. Musical is a sedentary yet sentient being that is incapable of participating in the activities of the world around her and can't even be heard by most individuals, so all she does is sings because that's the only outlet she has. Her backstory is incredibly forlorn, and it made me think of that melancholy sort of inspiration that stems from being incapable of changing the world around you. When feelings can't be applied directly toward changing the environment around oneself, they can instead be channeled into the creation of something new, and in some ways they have to be, or else you might just go crazy. And this is sort of the feeling I got from Musical. Her one escape and her one outlet is just making music. Finn can hear her because he is experiencing a deep sense of loss, and not because he can see the world with childlike wonder. Finn being self-aware enough to realize he no longer sees the world in such a way was a brief yet profound addition to all the maturation and development Finn has already experienced over the course of this season. Finn is often slow on the uptake when it comes to self-reflection, and I think this was a great detail to highlight that he is becoming more competent at it. The thing that I most appreciated about this episode is that Finn didn't just find solace in the music that resonated with him, but rather he found solace in making a new friend who was also experiencing hardship, and also by being reminded that he already has an extensive support system of friends who care about him deeply. Finn and Musical finding new happiness by forming a bond with each other was what really tugged at the heartstrings in this episode. My only real issue with the episode Musical is that the pacing felt weird, a bit off-kilter and disharmonious. I had a hard time getting drawn in and lost in the episode. I was constantly aware I was watching a show rather than forgetting I even exist, which is what often happens when I'm watching shows I really enjoy. It does feel like a personal criticism though. I don't think I can necessarily criticize the pacing in an objective sense. It's simply that for me, something about the flow didn't jive quite right. That doesn't detract from the fun and sentimental experience of the episode. I really dig how boisterous fun gave way to a heartfelt and rather reserved conclusion. Musical was an elegant mixture of sadness, joy, and tenderness.